All right, so now for simultaneous equations, which is not new straight from grade 10. So we saying it's simultaneous equations because that's when you are dealing with more than one equation, which will be two equations in this case. And then you will be asked to solve two variables together at the same time. Hence the word simultaneous. So you will see that we have equation 1 here, which is x minus 2y equals 2 minus 3. So we're going to name this equation 1. And then the second one is xy equals to 20. This will be equation 2. So the two variables here, or the two unknowns, are x and y. So we are solving for x and y simultaneously. What you have to do then is look at the two equations and check which one would be easier for me to make one of the variables a subject of the formula. If you check with equation 2, making x or y subject of the formula is going to create a fraction. And we always try to avoid a fraction because they take a bit more time to simplify. So then it leaves us an option to work with equation 1. So from equation 1, we can try to make either x and y simultaneous equations, but because y has a coefficient 2, that will also create a fraction. So anything to avoid fractions. If they are unavoidable, then good. But for now, it's possible not to have a fraction. So that means we can opt out for making x subject of the formula. So from that equation, making x subject of the formula will then give us x is equals to, if we take 2y to the right hand side, it will be positive 2y because it was minus 2y. And we still have minus 3. So we just created equation 3 from equation 1. So what most of you do, which is a mistake, is going back at some future to work with equation 1 again. Remember, we can't go back and substitute anything into equation 1 because we kind of created equation 3 out of it. So for now, we're just going to scratch out equation 1 because we took something out of it. That equation 3 is equation 1. It's just that we made x a subject of the formula. So that is like a very common mistake when learners go back to equation 1 and try to substitute equation 3 back into it. Just remember, we can't do that. Equation 1 and equation 3 at this point are just the same thing. It's just that equation 3 is created from equation 1 by making x a subject of the formula. What are we then going to do? We are now going to substitute the created equation 3 into equation 2. I repeat, not into 1 because we took it from equation 1. So hence I've scratched out equation 1 there. So we are substituting equation 3 into equation 2. All right. So where we see x, we're going to substitute with 2y minus 3. There we have x, y. So our x is 2y minus 3. Okay, and then we have y, and this is equals to 20. So we are going to break the bracket by multiplying out. 2y multiplied by 1 will be 2y squared, and minus 3 multiplied by y will be minus 3y equals to 20. So we notice immediately that we have a quadratic equation. So what we're going to do is just put everyone on the left hand side so that we make it into a standard formula. So this would be 2y squared minus 3y. Then we're going to bring the 20 into the left hand side and it will be minus 20 because on the right hand side it was positive 20 equals to 0. So it's in a standard form. Let's see if we have terms that will give us a minus 3. So the terms for 2y squared can only be 2y and y. And then for 20, we can have 5 times 4, maybe. Let's see if that will work. Okay, we need a 3. So if we take 4 multiplied by these 2, it will give us an 8. And then 8 minus the 5 will give us a 3. All right. So 4 has to go with 2. So the ones on the outer side go together. So it will be 4 here. And the 5 will come this side. So we're going to have 2y times 4, which is 8y. Then we're going to have 5 times y, which is 5y. So that means negative has to come this side, the one that will give us a bigger number, which is 2y minus times 4. It's going to have to be minus 8 because the sign of the middle term, that 3, is a negative. Then the plus will come this side. So we're going to have minus 4y plus 5y will then give us minus 3y. And positive 5 times minus 4 is minus 20. All right, we've done that already. So 2y plus 5 is equals to 0, or y minus 4 is equals to 0. So we get two y values. The first one is y will be equals to 5 on the other side minus 5 divided by 2, or y will be equals to 4. So another mistake that most of you do again is that after you've solved one variable, then you forget to solve the other. We just solved for y, we haven't solved for x. So you always have to remember to go and solve for the other variable. We just found y, then we need to go back and find x. So that would be advisable not to go use 1 or 2. It will be much simpler than to solve it using equation 3, because the subject of the formula in equation 3 is already x. So we're not using 1 or 2, but we're now going to substitute our values into equation 3. We are solving for x, and this equation 3 has x as a subject of the formula. So things have already been simplified for us. Okay, so let's go. So our first x will be equals to 2. So the first y is minus 5 over 2. Then we have minus 3. Or x will be equals to, we have 2. Our y in this case is now 4 minus 3. All right, so this x will be equals to 2 will cancel with 2 minus 3 minus 5 will give us minus 8. And the second x will be equals to 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. So x is minus 8 and positive 5, while y is minus 5 over 2 and 4. Okay, second example. So again, we have equation 1. We're going to solve for x and y again. Remember, these variables can be anything. We could be solving for a and b, m and n. It's not necessarily only x and y. It can be any variable. All right, so we're going to name this equation 1, and this will be our equation 2. Okay, again, we look at the two equations and check which one would be more simpler to make something subject of the formula? Okay, we can make x subject of the formula from equation 2, but then it's going to create a set form because we would have to take square root on both sides. Just like fractions, we try to avoid to work with sets because they take more longer again to simplify. So in this one again, it's going to be easier to work with equation 1. Okay, it doesn't matter at this stage whether we're trying to make x or y subject of the formula, both of them won't create a fraction. So it really doesn't matter. Whichever one you start with, it's still fine. So let's make y subject of the formula from equation 1. So it's going to be y is equals to minus x minus 2. So we took x and 2 to the right hand side from the left hand side. And then we just created equation 3. Remember, we have to substitute equation 3 into equation 2, not into equation 1, because we took it from equation 1. So they are the same thing. Okay, so now we're going to substitute equation 2 into equation 3 into equation 2. We are substituting equation 3 into 2. All right. So we're going to have x squared plus, we substitute y now. Y, which is minus x minus 2, all of it squared, equals to 4. So a common mistake here is applying laws of exponents on an expression that has a negative or a plus. So you'll get a learner that says minus x squared is x squared, and then minus 2x minus 2 squared is 4. So remember, you can't do that. You can't say x squared minus 2x squared. That's applying exponent laws on plus and minus. We only apply exponent laws on multiplication and division. What this means is that these are two brackets. Okay, so since it's minus x minus 2 squared, it just means it's minus x minus 2 times. So it's the same as having minus x minus 2 multiplied by minus x minus 2, two brackets. All right, so let's multiply everything out. So we're going to have x squared, okay, minus x times minus x will then give us plus x squared. Then we're going to have minus x times minus 2, which is plus 2x, minus x times minus 2, which is plus 2x. Plus 2x will then give us plus 4x. And lastly, we're going to have minus 2 times minus 2, which is plus 4. And then already we realize that we have a quadratic equation, so we're going to bring 4 this side, which will be minus 4. And then we have equals to 0. All right. So just remember, we had to create two brackets here because of that squared, rather than just applying exponent laws. We only apply them to division and subtraction. So we had 2x squared plus 4x equals to 0. All right. So we see that we have a common factor, which is 2x. And then 2x squared divided by 2x will give us an x. And plus 4x divided by 2x gives us then a 2. All right. So with this one, we will then have two x is equals to 0, or x plus 2 equals to 0. Therefore, x will be equals to 0. We're dividing both sides by 2 there. Or x will be equals to minus 2. Remember, we don't stop there. We still have to find the other variable, y. And then since equation 3 already has y as subject of the formula, it only makes sense to substitute into equation 3. So it will be y equals to minus 0, our x is 0, minus 2, or y is equals to minus, our x now is minus 2, then we have minus 2. So y will be equals to minus 0 minus 2, which is minus 2, or y will be equals to minus 2 is plus 2 minus 2 is a 0. All right. Okay, and the last example for simultaneous equations. All right, you get the drill for now, by now, right? So again, we have equation 1 and equation 2. Okay. So equation 2 already has y subject of the formula, so we are happy. We can right away go substitute it into equation y1 to make life easy, or we can make y subject of the formula from equation 1 and just equate the 2. But I think I'm going to go with the first option. Equation 2 is already subject of the, it has y already as a subject of the formula. So we're just going to say substitute equation 2 into 1. All right. Think that makes life easy. Okay, I'm only doing that because y is already subject of the formula there. Okay, so substituting into equation 1, we will have 3x, and then our y is minus x squared plus 2x plus 8. Then we have plus 2. This is equals to 0. Okay, let's break out that bracket. So we have 3x. Negative times negative x squared will be plus x squared. Negative times positive 2x is going to give us minus 2x. Minus 2x, and then negative times positive x will give us minus 8. We have plus 2, and this is equals to 0. So in a standard form, we're then going to have x squared. 3x minus 2x is going to give us plus x. And then minus 8 plus 2 is minus 6. Equals to 0. Does this have factors? Okay, for x squared, it will be x and x. And then for 6, obviously, it will be 3 and 2, because 3 minus 2 is 1. So we're going to have plus 3. and minus 2. So this is minus 6 if you multiply them out, but 3 minus 2 does give us positive 1. Therefore, x is equals to minus 3, or x is equals to positive 2. Remember, we do have to remember to go find the other variable, which is y. All right. So we can use equation 2 because y is already subject of the formula, or we can create subject of the formula from equation 1 and substitute into it. Doesn't really make any difference. Okay. So I think I will work with this one. If I make y subject of the formula from equation y, it's going to be y is equals to 3x plus 2. I kind of just took that y out and it came out as a positive, leaving 3x plus 2. So I'm opting to substitute into that one because it's a linear. This one is a quadratic. So linears are much quicker to simplify than quadratic formulas. But we could still substitute into that one. It will give us same answers. It's just that we're going to have to square plus 2 times whatever we have in plus 8, which will be much longer. All right. So when x is minus 3, we're going to have 3 times minus 3 plus 2, and this will give us minus 9 plus 2, which is minus 7. Or y will be equals to 3. Our x is now 2. Then we have plus 2. 3 times 2 is 6. And 6 plus 2 is 8. So we have minus 7 and 8